Assalamu alaikum dear students, welcome to the Kashmir Harvard special video lectures for you. This is Asif Sultan and today we are going to study an important poem of Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. Remember students that this poem, The Road Not Taken, is one of the most famous poems of world literature. This poem of Robert Frost is one of the most loved poems of Robert Frost. And furthermore, remember, this is very important, that this poem, The Road Not Taken, is one of the most misinterpreted poems of world literature. That means it's a tricky and a difficult one, but remember that difficult is interesting and easy, as you all know, is boring. So let's begin our class. I have divided this lecture into 4 sections, 4 parts. Okay, number 1 is recitation of the poem. Number 2 is the poetic devices. We will be talking about the devices, the techniques, the tools the poet has used in order to enhance the meaning and rhythm of the poem. And number 3, we will be talking about the themes, the ideas, the thoughts which the poet wants to convey through this beautiful poem. And at last, we will be having line by line discussion and explanation of the poem, The Road Not Taken. So let's begin. The first part, the recitation part. In this part, I'll be doing the recitation of the poem and I'll be talking about certain things about the recitation, and I later would want you to pause the video after I recite the poem and then follow the recitation and practice the recitation. Okay, because recitation is more important than understanding the poem. Okay, because if you see the definition of poetry, it is the rhythmic composition. It uses the rhythmic qualities of language. So if you do not recite it with rhythm, it doesn't matter whether you understand it or not. So let's begin. As far as the recitation of poem is concerned, you remember 3 things. Number 1, it has got to be loud and clear. Okay? You have to recite it, read it loudly, and you have to recite it clearly. If you are reciting the poem like 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood and sorry I could not travel both, you got a sorry figure. And if you are gobbling and chewing words like 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood and sorry, so on and so forth, okay, it doesn't seem good. It seems awkward. Okay, so you have to be, number 1, loud and clear. Number 2 is that you have to have a good pronunciation. Okay, if you are mispronouncing the words, you are again cutting a sorry figure. Okay, so if you read the poem like 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood and sorry I could not travel both, so on and so forth, so it doesn't seem good. You have to have a good, neutral, I should say, pronunciation of the words. Okay, number 3 is the toning of the words. Okay, the tone of the poem, the enunciation, the voice modulation. Okay, because a particular text demands to be recited or read in a particular manner. For example, if you read a text and it talks about the gloominess, the sadness, and if you are reciting it in an excited way, it doesn't seem good. For example, the line is, the girl was very melancholic, or the girl was very sad. So if you are reading like, the girl was very sad, so it doesn't correspond with the tone of the poem. Okay, or if the line is like, the girl was so excited to see her parents after a long time. So if you are reciting like, the girl was very excited, so you do not have that happy tone. Okay, so if the poem is motivational, so you have to have that vigor and energy while reciting the poem. So 3 things you got to remember while reciting the poem. First one, you got to recite it loud and clear. Number 2, pronounce the words well. And number 3, you have to have a proper tone, proper enunciation, proper voice modulation of the poem. So let's begin the recitation of the poem. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay. In leaves no step had trodden black. I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere aids and aids hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. You must have seen the loudness, the clarity of the words I pronounced, the pronunciation of the words, and the toning, the proper toning of the poem. That's how you got to recite it. I will talk about some words because there are some words which we often mispronounce, like the word two roads diverged. The words ending with ed, we often mispronounce them, like we say diverged or looked or happened, so on and so forth. So you have to have a little subtle sound of ed, like diverged, not diverged but diverged, looked, not looked, happened, not happened. Okay. And another mistake we commit while pronouncing the words like because, B-E-C-A-U-S-E. It's not because, it's because. Okay, little cuz. Because it's as if like written like C-U-Z. Because. That's why, in WhatsApp writing we write just B-E-C-U-Z, because we are much concerned about the sound than the spelling. Okay. And another one that is very important, you have to practice it a lot in order to get that well, that is TH sound, th sound. TH has two sounds. One is th and another is the. Okay? Th, like you have to use the tip of the tongue that touches the front teeth of yours. Okay? Front upper teeth of yours. So like th. So the words like thank you or both th sound, or undergrowth. Okay, it's not like both thank or undergrowth, it's like both thank and undergrowth, th sound. Okay, you got to practice it, a bit difficult, but as I've already told you, difficult is interesting. So keep working, you will get it right. And the sound, okay, it has another sound that is the, like we have the word like them, not them. Okay, we have the word like the, not the. Okay, we are mispronouncing the words. So though, them, that, these. So keep working on the words and you will get them right. I would like to recite the poem once again so that you later pause it again and then you recite it well. Okay. The road not taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay. In leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere aids and aids hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So this is the recitation. Keep practicing. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't learn a skill overnight. You have to keep on doing it, practicing it, and you will get it right eventually. Number two part of this video lecture was the poetic devices, the poetic tools. Remember that the poet doesn't use the ordinary style while writing the poem. He uses an extraordinary style, and for that purpose, or for that I would say for that achievement, he uses some tools, some techniques, some devices which are called poetic devices, or they are called poetic techniques, or they are called the literary techniques. Okay, so why does a poet do that? In order to enhance two things. Number one is rhythm, okay, the melody, the music, and number two is the meaning. Okay, when you recite the poem and it goes well, I mean the pattern of the poem is well, and you are able to recite it in a nice manner, that means there is something in it. What is that? We have to find that out. Okay, if the meaning of a poem is so profound, there is something in it, some tools, some ideas, some techniques which the poet uses in order to enhance these two things. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 5 poetic devices which the poet has used in order to beautify this poem. Number 1, rhyme scheme. Okay, rhyme means the usage of words having the same end sound, having the same or similar end sound, like words like tree, free, okay, away, way, so on and so forth. You will see in this poem the words, I mean if you check the rhyme of the first stanza only, you see the last word. This is called end rhyme because the words at the end of each line rhymes with each other, like would, stood, could, both, and undergrowth. Okay, now the question is how to show it. Okay, through a rhyme scheme we use a technique, we use letters in order to indicate, in order to show which rhyme scheme is used in this particular poem. So how we do it? Let's analyze the first stanza only. So you underline the last words of each line, like would is the last one, both, stood, could, and undergrowth. So you will give the first word would, you will give it A. Okay, you write at the side of would A. Okay, and you see the next word both. You see if it rhymes with would. Does it rhyme with would? No, it doesn't. So you will give it B. Okay, and the third word is stood. Stood rhymes with would, so you will give it A because you gave A to would. And then comes could, you will give it A again. Growth rhymes with both, so you have already given B to both, so you will give B to it also. So the rhyme scheme, if you see, A, B, A, B. Okay, of the first stanza. So rest of the poem you are going to work on it and choose some poems so that you practice it. Okay, it doesn't come by just listening to the lectures. You have to put it into practice so that you hammer it down into your mind. So this was the first poetic device that we discussed, that is rhyming or rhyme scheme. Number 2 is alliteration. This too deals with the rhythm of the poem. Alliteration, remember, is a poetic device in which there is usage of a series of words in a line, having the same initial consonant sound. Series of words, there can be 2 words or 3 words or more than that. Series of words in a line having the same consonant sound. As you know that vowel sounds like A, E, I, O, U, they are represented by A, E, I, O, U, and rest of the sounds are consonant sounds like B, C, D, F, G, H, J, so on and so forth. They are all the consonant sounds. Okay, when the words having the same initial consonant sound appear, so that means it is alliteration used. For example, the words like silent sky, so you see sa and sa sound. Okay, so this is alliteration here. Or another example, deep, dark, dusky night. So you see da, da, da sound. Okay, so there are maybe many examples. I would like to I would like to tell you the first one. That is in the second stanza, third line, wanted where. So you see ver and ver sound is over there. Okay, so this is called alliteration. Number 3 poetic device that too deals with the rhythm of the poem, that is consonants. It's little bit similar to alliteration because in both the poetic devices the consonant sound is used, but there is one little difference, that is in alliteration the consonant sound is used at the beginning of words, each word. Okay, and in consonants there is the usage of consonant sound anywhere in the line, okay, or anywhere in the word. It can be in the beginning or it can be at the end. You can see the first line, 2 roads, so it ends with the. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood. So the sound is repeated, you can check that. And I would want you to check rest of the poem and identify the poetic devices, that is or the poetic device, that is consonants. Okay, number 3 poetic device is metaphor. It deals with the meaning of the poem. Okay, metaphor simply means the comparison between two unlike things. Okay, for example, if I say you are a lion, you are not a lion, but when I say you are a lion, that means you are as brave as a lion. Okay, a very gigantic animal, a beast. Okay, so you are as brave as this lion is. So this is called comparison. Here are, the complete poem is a comparison, like the poet uses the two roads and he compares the two choices with the two roads. Okay, and the rest of the poem goes on like that. So this is the comparison. He uses one object but he refers to another object. Okay, that is choice making. And number 5 poetic device that we are going to discuss is imagery. Okay, my favorite, this is the most beautiful, I think, poetic device that a poet uses. What he does by using this poetic device is that he draws images, he draws pictures. How? Through words. Like you see a painter draws pictures using what? Using color, using paint. The poet does the same thing, the writer does the same thing, but he uses words, and words are more powerful than anything else. Okay, more powerful than anything else. So you see the image drawn in this poem, the two roads diverge. It begins with imagery. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood. Yellow wood, image of yellow wood is given there. Okay, the image of morning you will see ahead, the grassy path. Okay, and so on and so forth. So there are many imageries used in this poem. So I would want you to look at the poem, read silently. Okay, read carefully. Try to identify the poetic devices that we just discussed. Okay, this is it about today's video lecture, and in the next video lecture we'll be talking about 2 other things that are part of this video lecture. Thank you very much. God be with you.